fuck it. We're doing it. I'm sorry. We're doing it. I don't give a fuck. Hi, YouTube. Welcome on through. I appreciate y'all coming back. We're doing the next episode, Hedgehog's Dilemma. We should be having Phoebe jump on in for a discussion. Super excited to jump into this. I don't know what else to say other than we were having some serious discussions about like isekais and falling into what makes anime. So I'm going to ask you guys this: what is your favorite genre of anime? And then I want you to go ahead and go deeper, right? We're talking about Evangelion, and in retrospective, I want you guys to consider this. And this will be a discussion piece that I'm going to bring up to Phoebe as well afterwards. So, what is your favorite genre of anime and why? Why is that your favorite genre of anime? What are you seeking to take away from the anime that you watch? I'm personally really curious about it because I think I feel like that determines and that showcases a lot as to like, number one, what you're looking for in an anime, but number two, why we might fall into certain tropes and certain instances like that. Super curious about your guys' responses. With that, ladies and gentlemen, episode 4, Hedgehog's Dilemma. I guess we're about to see Sonic. I'm really excited. Let's go right into it. Oh, if you guys can fucking hear it. Nothing but cat jams. Let's go. That's interesting. Hold on. I'll tell you guys what I'm thinking about. So even in the song, there's a little bit of a modulation. Sorry, like we take this song apart every single time, right? Listen to the hi-hats, right? The hi-hats are keeping the beat, right? So just listen to the hi-hats, right? And on the other side, you have a lot of the percussion, especially what seems to be some sort of drum just going like exactly. So there's a point when the metric modulation happens when you hear like the quick shift that the hi-hat starts going into like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so really pushing it forward, right? But aside from that, here comes the interesting part. The drum changes a bit as well. Sorry, this might not mean anything to you guys, but as a music nerd, right, listening to something like this, the music in of itself is telling a story. We have this choir element, right? You guys are not going to hear my pipes tonight, unfortunately. But you have this choir element, like just going wild, right? Like do 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 do. Just going, right? In the background, though, you have the clashing of what seems to be like the industrial section, right? Of the industrial elements of the percussive, right? So in the percussive nature, you're hearing this battling up against what seems to be a very choir and realistic element or ritualistic element of things. So inside of this song itself, we have two different clashings of ideals, right? I.e. the modernization of what's happening in it, along with the choir and what seems to be like the Gregorian chants of what's happening all together, right? Until they find the mesh together and they're able to push on through. Just listen to it. I know it sounds fucking silly, but just You have the drums, the music, instrumentals. And meanwhile, she's just singing naturally, right? This is sort of what I'm trying to go ahead and like showcase through this, right? This is more like a church hymn that's happening in the background. You don't really need all of this drums and whatnot that's happening through. So it's a different clash of ideals, right? It's a clash between the ritualistic, the like the I guess the subvert, whatever we want to go ahead and call it, right? And the bongos and the percussive element really showcasing that industrial nature of like a working society, so clashing together. And what is Evangelion, right? But a big mixture of the angels clashing in with this futuristic Earth and finding that ground right there. And even past that, what is this show but Shinji getting in the fucking robot or trying to better himself from his trauma that he has? The bongos are fucking awesome, bro. That's why I'm saying is like this show in the music, the opening that is showcasing here is literally, is he trying to? Well, I mean, just realizing that he has to get better, Phoebe. But that's the main regard is we have this clash as to what is happening between the opening. Get in the robot, Miko. Get in the fucking robot, Miko. We have this clash of different themes going up against one another. What a fucking phenomenal opening. And I feel like taking it apart, even just music. Absolutely, Robzo. Start noticing that more elements are being added, more stings are being added as it's going through this, right? They're still singing, they're just picking up their vocally. Like if we're to separate the vocals from the actually fuck it. We're doing it. I'm sorry. We're doing it. I don't give a fuck. This is what you guys are here for. We're fucking doing it. There should be more stings with it, right? Did you study music or are you just a fan? I studied music for a long while. I have my associates in music, and I also was like a drum major and part of band for like 4 to 5 years. I was in a shitty rock band when I was in middle school, joined marching and concert band for 4 to 5 years 4 years in high school, and then did 2 years of college as well in terms of music and composition, as well with theater and a bunch of other stuff. So it's like I really just... I like how you can still hear the bass line.
主の手で窓辺からやがて飛び立つほとばしる熱いパトスで思い出を裏切るならこの空を抱いて輝く少年よ神話になれ
Doesn't this sound like, and that's without the, without a lot of the, unfortunately the bass line is still there, but without a lot of the other instruments, right? So, a lot more ritualistic, yeah? Like listening to this through without the... So that's sort of what my mind did. In case you guys are wondering, how the fuck did you pick this up? My mind is weird in the fact that it separates things out with like, specifically hi-hats, drums, vocals, the bass line, usually the trumpets. There seems to be a little bit of winds as well, maybe. It starts separating stuff out. And it not weird, it's wonderful. Well, thank you. But when we're listening to this, though, well, it's kind of like a hymn, right? Them beeps and boops. This is what it is. It's a fucking hymn, right? I was about to say, if you guys like Dios te salve Maria, llena de gracia, el Señor es contigo. All of a sudden, like you start going into like these like prayeristic elements, and you start like putting it all together, right? And it's kind of like a fucking hymn. It's exactly like a ritualistic hymn. Cool. So now we got that. Now I want you guys to keep that one in mind. You guys ready for the next one? Sounds like nothing like hymns I had to sing and here. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres. God damn. Bro, I know I was indoctrinated to be able to go into like, I told you that the story, that story to tell you this one. So here we go. Hold on. No. We'll see how well this does it. In case you guys are wondering, yes, you can do this with the choir, but you can also do this on the piano with the fucking choir setting. Oh, the guitar just fucking riffing, bro. I didn't even get to hear that. Ah! Listen to the fucking guitar, brother. The guitar is just fucking shredding. Hold on. I hadn't even heard the guitar. That's so fucking sick, bro. Why hide a guitar in the background when it's so hard to hear? That is so fucking sick. Well, I mean, for me, it's like, I want you guys to close your eyes, right? When you're listening to this, for Wizards to Find, when you're listening to this, where does this bring you? Hold on. Listening to this, what does this bring you, right? Listening to just a... This is something you have to remember. Openings and endings and whatnot. Everything is chosen. Bouncy dance. Right. For me, it kind of reminds me of like of a party. 80s party, right? Yep. Yep. For me personally, it showcases kind of like a futuristic society, right? In the way that it's going, kind of like a cyberpunkish society, like without even like, yes, we know what Evangelion has, right? But just listening to some of the way that the instruments are being played, kind of like the 80s, right? If for those individuals that touched it, where it's just like the background noise that's happening, we're just fucking jamming out, whatnot. From this, like I could hear this as a background music for like a cyberpunk society. I'm not even joking. I can definitely imagine playing a fucking video game, like a retro futuristic video game. Right, right. And you have that there. But yet, on the other hand, when we have these lyrics,
だけどいつか気づくでしょうその背中には
all of a sudden you have a clash. And that's what makes this fucking anime beautiful. My God, bro. My God. Sorry, that might have taken longer than expected. But all right. I just thought it was something worth like taking apart and listening to, like piece by piece by piece. I remember they created this in a single night because they needed it. Holy fuck, dude. That's so amazing. I don't hear the punk and cyberpunk at all. Well, it's retro futuristic. And that's sort of what highlights an element as to like what goes into thinking about certain things like this. Eva getting the Oshinoko treatment, right? Oof. All right, let's keep going, guys. Sorry.
ほとばしる熱いパットスで思い出を裏切るならこの空を抱いて輝く少年よ神話になれ あいつ今日もずる休みするつもりかしら
Oh, little Shin's room.
シンジ君起きなさいいつまで学校休む気もう5日目よ初号機はもう完全に治ってるのよパイロットのあなたがそんなことでどうするのシンジ君
Surprise. Oh no. Oh no. It's been 5 days. Stop being depressed now. Oh guys, it's been 5 days. Well, crap. Uh-oh. Oh, hey, mirror the last episode of the beginning. Bye-bye. Sound the alarms. I mean, from this, what would you expect? You're putting a teenager a fuck ton of pressure. Of course, fight or flight's gonna kick in. He might just try and fucking run away, right? Where's the kid? I should check in earlier. After 2 days, she has not seen him in 5 days. Normal behavior for a guardian. Oh no. Actually, I'm curious. How were you guys in your rebellious phase? Like, Phoebe, how were you in your rebellious phase? I'm kind of curious. Like, what was the most out there thing that you guys did? Were you guys like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and run away. I'm gonna sneak out of the house to go to a party or go meet with friends. I'm gonna play video games until 4 or 5 in the morning. Like, what was like, you know, that phase for you in general? For some reason, you didn't have a rebellious phase? Sure. I mean, some people really didn't. I got depressed. Oh, sure. You didn't have one? Sure. I did run away for a month to Las Vegas. What? I guess I didn't rebel. I mean, everyone has a different form of being like rebellious, right? For some people, it's eating at night when they're not supposed to. You watched anime and played video games, still in my rebellious. Oh, no, Phoebe. Oh, no. But that comes into question is like, shouldn't the guardian like of someone be checking in consistently? Like, hey, are you doing okay? What's going on? What's happening? Are you okay? Like, in that same regard, it kind of makes me wonder, right? Is Shinji, if Shinji did run away, and if Shinji's trying or attempting to get away, is this because he's not really feeling supported? Oof.
家出っか無理もないわね
Rain after running away.
シンジ君
碇君と同じクラスの相田と鈴原と申します。
相田君と鈴原君
はい、僕が鈴原です。
もしかして初号機のエントリープラグに入った？
はい、その説はとんだご迷惑をおかけしました。実はあれから碇君がずっと休んでらっしゃるので気になって見に寄らせてもうたんですが。
シンジ君はね、今ネルフの訓練施設にいるの。
あ、そうですか。
あ、これ机に溜まってたプリント、碇君の。
わざわざ悪いわね。ありがとう。
ほな、僕ら失礼します。
碇君によろしくお伝えください。
え、伝えるわ。じゃあ。
Interesting, huh? Interesting. And this is something that I guess stands out is they were talking about, you know, being like a hedgehog earlier, last episode, about how sometimes you have to be vulnerable to let people in. But at the same time, we as adults, we tend to mask our pain, right? To not let people in. We tend to mask the truth to not let people in. How long have they been living together? We're on episode 4, Buttery Fiend. So I guess this is something that comes up, and this is something I'm going to ask you guys, which is, how comfortable are you being vulnerable? And this is just being highlighted in this regard. Like, how comfortable are you being vulnerable, and are you scared of being hurt? Right? You're too comfortable, you overshare all the time. Why do you think that is? If you overshare, why do you think that is? And if you don't overshare, why, right? And this is an aspect of introspection that the show is really highlighting with this regard, right? Only with very select few people. Like, I can either be really, really great friends with people, right? To the like point where we're talking all the time. I'm like, hey, what's going on? So on and so forth, right? And then sometimes I could be like, hey, you know what? I'm not letting people in because I don't want to get hurt. Absolutely. Only recently tried to be more open, and it's fucking hard. Right. Because at what point do you overshare? At what point are people comfortable and uncomfortable with? Other people react, and know it's real, and I'm not just overthinking things. I don't remember how many movies I think. Yeah. So that's sort of where, like, for me, it's falling into line. Like, for example, Route A. You let people into your life. You let people see how vulnerable you are. You let that mask fall off just a little bit. And then you realize that maybe it does validate your fears of, like, you letting people in will hurt you, but maybe you stop growing in that way. For Shinji, yes, he needs to let people in, but to what capacity if he doesn't even know, like, how long he'll live? Oof.
これは予想外の展開だ。えらいべっぴんさんやったな。
信じたバカバカ
Oh.
次は長尾峠です。お出口右側に変わります。
How many hours does this fucking tape hold? Mine would be like minute 1, episode 1. Starting off with how to be a better version of yourself. Mindfulness. Today we're going to go and get started by sitting on the train and realizing that the people around you are people as well. I can't, brother. Shinji not standing up to like free ASMR. Oh shit. Let these grandpa kids these days shake my head. Oh no. But that's the main regard is like boyfriend crashing car ASMR. Hey babe, I think I might have flipped over the car. We're a little injured here. I just don't want you to freak out, okay? I need you to go ahead and unbuckle. Just fucking random ASMR thing. But no, I like for me, it's just showcasing. And I guess this is something worth highlighting. If you can get lost in hours and hours of media, right? Music, sounds, whatnot. What comfort are you seeking? And this is why whenever we ask a lot of these situations, that's the quietest ambulance I ever heard. Oh no. Yeah, like what is it? What are you seeking in a lot of these things, right? And even when it comes to like especially Sonder, right? It's the realization that other people have other lives happening all at once. For example, Phoebe, incredible content creator. In case you guys should go check her out. They're doing Cowboy Bebop reactions, which fucking incredible. Living halfway across the world, right? Doing her own incredible things, studies, working, literally 1,001 things, and continuing to try and go out and better her Korean, right? With all of that, it's like she's not just a person and entertainer. She's still the kid of someone, right? She's still the daughter of someone who's going through a wild time, who's separated, who's quite literally displaced from family, who is going through 1,001 things, trying to better herself, trying to go out and go to another country to study, to become a better animator, to do 1,001 things. It's like there's that realization of we're not just an individual. We're more than just an individual. There are other people out there with complete lives who are going through 1,001 issues, right? For Shinji himself, this depressed little kid in this train traveling for hours and hours and hours, is this a form of solace for himself? Sorry, Phoebe, by the way. I hope you don't mind. I thought that was just basic information to go ahead and share from what I know, but just as a good example of what may be happening. As why Misato didn't realize you left. Is she simply a bad guardian? Or is more going on there? Well, through that Dragon Pup, we got to remember, and that's okay. It's public. That's what I thought. I was like, as far as I know, that's all public info from what anybody can get from your streams. But the main regard that comes into question is like this, right? How many of you guys go into your everyday routines and don't check like something abnormal or something weird? Like how many of you guys legitimately? I guess I'll put it this way. When was the last time, not to put Shinji or equate Shinji to the sole of your shoes, when was the last time you guys checked the sole of your shoes? When was the last time that you guys checked, say, like the inside of your backpack? And I don't mean check to see if stuff was in there, but check to see if there were any tears. Check to see if there was any, I need new shoes. Do you, Phoebe? Huh. Is this a trick question? Never. A lot of people don't, right? And the main reason for that is we get so into our routines that when we expect people to be there, we expect that either people are busy or people are not there, and we get concerned after we don't see them for a period of time. So we get so into the mindset of routine of, hey, I got to go to work. I'll see you in the morning. Food is there. Huh. I guess you didn't eat your food. I guess you're not hungry. Whatever. Hey, Shinji, I left it there. Whatever. I got to go sleep. I got work. You come back, so on and so forth, right? Holy shit, it's been a year. Yesterday, actually. For some people, you guys are very observant. For other people, though, especially if you have work and you have 1,001 other things, it doesn't really come into the forefront, which is kind of sad and kind of unfortunate, you know? Oh. Literally the last one there. Want to talk about horror feels? This, man. You're the last one on a train. There's no one around you. It's the end of the line. I have Phoebe. I'll share this story, right? Twofold. Two stories. One kind of sad and one not so much, right? First one, not so much. Was drinking in the Netherlands. First time there, didn't really know the train stations, right? Didn't really know much. Got really messed up. The guy got to party a little too hard. Everyone, my friends, knew the way back. I didn't. It was one of my first times there. Got on a train. There's no one around in the train, really. Knocked out. Woke up at the end of the line, 3.5 hours, 4 hours away from my location. That was something. That was something to just be in a train ride to fucking nowhere, brother. I woke up and it's like, you're like, oh shit, it's morning. Yeah. Well, that doesn't sound dangerous at all. I mean, con una cruda? I was so hungover. First thing I did was like, oh fuck, I gotta go find something to drink, right? And find my way back. Second time, going through like a really, really rough breakup scenario, whatnot, had just, happened. One of those times where it's just like, hey, whatever, it is what it is. We got to go our own separate ways, blah, 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 blah. And then you take the train back and it's raining and it's so fucking solemn. And there's no one in the train. The light is like not really working. It's kind of flickering off and on. And you just have nothing to hear but the rain because my phone had shut off at that time. And like the train track, like rolling on the way back in the rain. And you're just like, huh. That sounds cozy as fuck. So it was a lot of introspective moments. Like, was it like, what really was that aspect or that thing? Sounds amazing. Yeah, but it sounds amazing if you're in a good headspace. If you're in a dark headspace, though, and if you're going through a lot of things, it could be a lot of, I don't know how to put it, like situations of full regard, right? Kids that fall asleep with the parent, they don't want to wake up adults, but kids, they do. Sure. Was that La Cucaracha Saga? That was part of La Cucaracha Saga. I mean, the first one was La Cucaracha Saga. The second part was different. It feels like a lot of time to disassociate. Really, it really, really is. It really is. Yeah. But oftentimes, these are the moments of introspection. These are the moments where we really start to heal. Everything is about how you're feeling at the moment. The same thing can be great or horrible. Absolutely. Under any other context, it can be great or horrible. But I'm going to ask this. How many of you guys keep a journal or actually like a voice memo as to how you're feeling or how you're writing down? Explain La Cucaracha. I need this right now. Sure. That time that I got really drunk and I ended up in another country, ended up going to a bar who was like shutting down or some shit. I don't know what happened. But went in there. I think this was the time when I experienced positive racism. I know it sounds weird. I know. Trust me. Everyone was going around giving one another nicknames like, oh yeah, I am, the tree stump. I am this. Like everyone's giving each other like random ass fucking nicknames. It's a room full of Dutch people giving one another Dutch people like names. I enter this karaoke kind of looking bar. The moment I go in, they lock the door. And my thing coming from Mexico, I'm like, okay, shit's about to get really, really heavy, right? And they're giving out drinks like no tomorrow. I take a seat where the bar is, right? I'm like, tequila, compa. Tequila, compa. I sit down. I know they locked the door, bro. And like from the outside looking in, you can't really see because the windows are like really like shaded in. And the bouncer's actually on the inside drinking. No more people are allowed in. I come on in, right? I sit down and I'm like, tequila, like let's drink, right? I'm taking shots with these people and they're going around giving each other a nickname, right? They come to me and I'm over here just starting to sweat bullets, right? I'm like, oh, you know what? Fuck it. Like everyone's giving each other really, really rough nicknames, right? And they're like, so like, what are you, right? In like a very aggressive tone. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm La Cucaracha. I said it as a joke, right? From that point on, everyone's like, La Cucaracha. We started drinking, bro. The drinks were on them the entire night. They were like, because it's like Mexico, La Cucaracha, right? Very fucking famous. Sure, whatever, right? I'm La Cucaracha. Let's fucking drink. Top 3 drunkest I've ever been in my life. Top 3 drunkest I've ever been in my life. And it's one of those moments where it's like, it turns daytime, right? Because you drink all the way till morning. All the drinks were, because they were the ones that were like, oh, Mexico, right? Because I'm like, yeah, Mexican American. They're like, American, right? Like garbage. Mexico, oh, like they know some things from Mexico, like cucaracha. Apparently novelas are very popular from Mexico abroad. Didn't really know that, but apparently they are. So everyone's giving one another nicknames. So it's like, what are you, La Cucaracha? I'm like, fuck it, I'm La Cucaracha. And we just went with it, right? It is what it is. Get free drinks all night, stumbled across, ended up, going from one place to another. American garbage, yes. It is what it is. Could you walk? Because ya no puede caminar. I'll see myself. Phoebe, that's so good. That is so good, but I was stumbling. I was stumbling. I'll be honest. I walked outside, and it's one of those times where, like, after you're drinking, that you stand up for the first time in a while, and like everything hits you, and you're a little like shaky, and then the wind hits you, and it's one of those times where you're like, "Holy shit, where are we going?" Right? So, yeah. Let's just say it was an interesting way, all the way across. Anyway, sorry guys. Y soy rebelde. All right, anyway, let's keep going. Sorry. Oh, no. Bro, it's just not movie. He's just... Shinji! It's the end of the line, brother. Is this a metaphor for, like, him and life in general, not trying to get in the robot? It's a loop train. Right. So he's just coming all the way around. No one's checking on him. How sad. Like, people are coming and going, and it's turning night and dark time, and no one's really even checking in on him. He's just in his own feels. Oh. Theaters have cameras, guys. I'm going to be very fucking upfront with you guys. Theaters have cameras, guys. You're not going to get away with doing some fucking... the naughty at the fucking movie theater. Hold on. I'm PSA. Yes, theaters have movie cameras, guys. Hand check, ladies and gentlemen. Hand check. And even like actual theater productions as well. I'm just saying that shit out there because some people seem to think that that's still like really fucking normal to do. It's like, nah, bruh. Nah. Still would. Oh. But he's not focused in on the movie at all, right? He's not focused on the movie at all. He's focused on what it means to be in a relationship. And here's the unfortunate thing, though. A lot of teenagers and a lot of individuals, especially when you're a teen, what do you guys think will fix you? I hate to put it this way, and I think we've all done it. We've all been in a toxic relationship or two. I think, at least. I kind of wonder what movie they would be showing in this world, right? Sex, relationships. A lot of teenagers really immediately think, "Oh, I'm sad. I wouldn't be sad if I was in a relationship." Oh no, people can fix me. Oh, like I can fix others and they can fix me. Relationships can do a wonder. No, fucking no, dude. Like not always. They hit that uwu stance. And they're like they get so fucking hyper focused on the aspect of like other people doing the fixing for them or them fixing others. And that isn't necessarily always the case. And then comes in the aspect of sex, right? Because a lot of people are afraid of talking about it, unfortunately. Where sex plays such a huge role in development for people. Either discovery of sex or sexual attunement, sexual orientation, what it means to go through it. Can you always fix yourself, though? You should always try to fix yourself, right? You should always try and say, like in a healthy relationship, is not... That is not a healthy relationship. Do you know why? A healthy relationship is not, or these are not healthy relationships. Society keeps bringing this up as like a healthy relationship. Do you guys know why? Realistically, exactly. It should be 100% you, 100% them. Whatever's left over is what makes that relationship special. Not 50-50, not 75-25, not 95-5, not whatever, right? It should be both individuals, you know, first off, being fully themselves, being fully healed if you want a really, really healthy relationship, right? Whatever's left over, because sometimes we might say, oh yeah, we can give 105. Cool, well then put that 5% into like solidifying aspects of things. Like I want to love you for who you are, your faults, your unfaults, who you are, the good, the bad, right? But I also want you to acknowledge what those are and how you're working to improve that, and vice versa as well. I'm an individual that has faults, right? I'm not a perfect dude in any way, shape, or form, right? But I acknowledge the faults that I have, and I'm working towards improving myself. And I want to make sure that we set our foot forward for this area of understanding, right? I mean, I know I don't want to be in a relationship with anyone who isn't in a good space, right? Into a relationship, what do you have left for yourself? You're not putting 100% into the relationship, Red Betting. You're putting 100% of yourself. You're being 100% of yourself just as much as they're being 100% of themselves. Whatever's left over, right? Because first off, you both gotta be able to go ahead and come together as 100% of an individual to be able to make the relationship work. Otherwise, you're expecting the other individual to fill in your gaps. And that's where that issue comes in. That issue of like, hey, yep. Most marriages. Oh, look at him longing for it. Hey, yo, in the movie theater, y'all are fucking wild, brother. Eyes light up a little bit, yeah. Yeah, of course he needs. But can you always give 100% is what I'm trying to say. All relationships aspire to be 95 can be a good can be a better relationship, but you should try and at least better yourself. You should be 100% comfortable being yourself and acknowledging who you are. And that's the main regard, Aruto. Because what if that 5% that I'm hiding, or that 5% that I'm like, you know what, you have to fill in, is such a fucking toxic trait of like extreme codependency. I'm like, I'm 95% very open to being myself. But the 5% that I'm hiding is that secretly I am into this and this and that. And your partner's like, what the fuck are you saying? Right? So you got to be comfortable with acknowledging and even saying like, hey, I'm working towards bettering myself. And the fact that like, you know, even communicationally speaking, I don't have all the answers, right? Like I may appear like my boundaries wise, and I may appear when it comes to certain instances to appease you or appease the situation, but I'm not 100% there. I might be 99.5. I'm 95% there. And I acknowledge the 5% that I'm working on, and I don't expect you to fill it in. And that's the key thing there is establishing that communication nice and early. Because you got to talk about it. Cross saves, the main thing comes in with like communicating with your partner, no matter what, good and or bad. Otherwise, would you be happy? For example, I'm going to ask this question. This is about to become a really, really hot topic, and I already know it. You guys ready for this? Say that your partner shared 95% of their life with you, right? A lot of good, a lot of whatnot. But they're telling you that they're keeping a secret. Okay. Something that they're trying to go ahead and work towards themselves, right? You've already been with this person for a while, or maybe you're starting to date this person for a while. And then they tell you that they're that they do OnlyFans, right? How many of you would be okay with that? Because a lot of people seem to have issues with sex work or any form of sexuality being presented. Some people are fine with it. Some people are like, cool, I wouldn't care. Okay. But others are like, nope, absolutely not. I'm going to sit this one out. Hell no. Nope, 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 nope. Politely decline? Sure. Sure. What kind of OnlyFans? Nope. There's videos out there of them with other partners or other things, right? In that situation. The main reason why I'm highlighting this, right? For example, this is a very common one, which is when it comes to a person's past, their sex worth, their previous partners, good and or bad, male and or female, right? A lot of people are very uncomfortable talking about the sexuality of things. That's just cheating, Ed. Is it? Is it? Especially if it's in their past, Cyberspace Cat? Especially like, because a lot of people aren't comfortable with their partner's videos being out. And that being sort of a secret that they might have held on to. So all of a sudden, you guys start realizing what I'm saying. Like, if people are very upfront, very honest, and that communication is key, it becomes a lot more open about it. And then, like, you can take this with any other topic. You can say with the fact that, like, maybe they get really envious or jealous about you being around other people, other girls, other whatever, right? There's 101 instances like that. Your past is your business. You're sure for some people, but for other people, they couldn't necessarily be be into that necessarily. Everyone has a choice, right? And that's the main regard. And this is why communication is important. I don't want to learn about somebody else. Sure. I love the color work though. Holy shit. I love how he's hearing all of this, but yet the only thing that we're actually hearing from him is just running. The world can be silent except for him. Sensory overload. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I think people forget that. 100%. Then go search for him. Jeez. Baka. You didn't come back home despite you saying you were running away. Baka. Like, I guess some people feel really powerless and really want to give kid the ability to go ahead and go through. You know, why is no one searching? Yeah, he's super fucking important, right? In a scenario like this, like there's nobody else that can do it, right? That can pilot this fucking mech. It ain't her job to look for him. As his guardian, it probably is. As his guardian, it probably is, right? Because at that point in time, she's the one that took him in. She's the one that allowed him to stay in the household. He's the only individual that can pilot this mech. As a guardian of a kid that's underage, it is your job to make sure that that kid is safe and sound. Nobody might care. Right? I think she hopes that she runs away for his own sake. Could be. Could be. It absolutely could be that she hopes that he could run away. But to what location, and is any location safe in that regard? How's Nerve Command allowing that? 100%.
14歳だもんね。人類の存亡を背負わせるのはやっぱ酷よね。でも私たちはエヴァの操縦を14歳の子供たちに委ねざるを得ないのよ。分かってる。で、シンジ君から連絡は？ないの？ないわ。彼もう戻らないかもしれない。どうするつもり？ 別に戻らないならその方がいいかも。なぜ？この間の戦闘の後でさ、どうして私の命令を無視したの？
ごめんなさい。
あなたの作戦責任者は私でしょ。
はい。
あなたには私の命令に従う義務があるの。わかるわね。
はい。
今後こういうことのないように。
はい。
あんた本当に分かってんでしょうね。
はい。
あんたね、何でも適当にはいはい言ってりゃいいってもんじゃないわよ。
分かってますよ、ちゃんと。もういいじゃないですか。
Yeah, that's someone that's fucking broken, dude.
そうやって表面だけ人に合わせていれば楽でしょうけどね。そんな気持ちでエヴァに乗ってたら死ぬわよ。
いいですよ、そんなの。
いい覚悟だわと言いたいとこだけど、褒められると思ったら大間違いよ。怒り真司君。
褒められるも何も、どうせ僕しか乗れないんでしょ。乗りますよ。
なるほどね。
So that comes in my main thing though, is he's a kid. He'll run away, and I think that's the only action he's taken. Let's talk about that a little bit, right? He's a kid. All the other actions that have come so far, or I mean, the first action that he did was actually disobey her orders and take out the angel, right? And then comes in his other action of running away. Everything else has been, they've been forcing his decisions for him. I am the only one that can do it. Peace, I'm out. Right. It's coming to the point in regard where it's like he's realizing also the power that he has in of himself, right? And why he doesn't want to do it. He takes the action. Fight or flight kicks in. If we keep going through this, trauma's going to keep happening. I'm going to keep feeling whatever the robot feels. I'm going to keep putting myself in danger. I'm your only option. Is he taking away control? Is he taking control in that way? Absolutely. He's their only option, Mickey. That's a lot of control that he's starting to realize that he has. What better control for him to go and send the message and to run? You're a teenager. I mustn't run away, yet runs away. It's the only decision he sees that he can make. But for how long? Yeah, exactly. He took control when he took out the angel as well. But for how long before he's forced to come back? That is...
あの子にとってエヴァに乗ることが苦痛でしかないのなら、もう乗らない方がいいわ。絶対死ぬもの。でもパイロットは必要よ。
小隊長殿あ、いや、行くんだ。しかし自分は小隊長殿を置いては進めません。バカモン。
LARP. The LARP is real.
よっと。転校生。イカリ
Just that reflectionary moment. My God, dude. Nice shot. Theory from the... Hold on. From the first time watcher in the same area, compatibility with Davis is a conspiracy to make pilots feel talented and keep them working for Nerve. It absolutely could be. It absolutely could be. But even from this, how many of you guys, and this goes again, teenage perspective, right? Now, let me highlight this. Is this it? This is it. What is Shinji doing? What is Shinji doing, guys? What is Shinji doing in this regard? And from what we've seen, what is he doing? Bro was cooking up a masterpiece. But also, in terms of LARPing and whatnot, kids do it all the fucking time, right? He's displacing, expressing feelings that would be threatening if directed onto a real target until less threatening target. Yeah, he's literally displacing. That's displacement. In a situation like this, right, he gets, like, you know, he's being reprimanded. He's being told, hey, listen to my commands, listen to whatever. And instead of him being able to properly talk out his feelings, he just says yes, 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 and he runs away. Because it's easier for him to go and run away than anything else, right? Another one, forming an emotional reaction or attitude that is the opposite of one's threatening or unacceptable actual thoughts or feelings. Matt is unconsciously attracted to Ben, but outwardly voices an extreme hatred of, you know, in here. the example is of homosexual, but another one that can be presented is, okay, hey, I am the only choice you got. Oh shit. No. Go find somebody else. Go find somebody else. Go find somebody else. Right? Isn't it regression too? Falling back onto childlike patterns of coping with stressful situations? 4-year-old Jeff starts wetting his bed after his parents bring home a new baby. Could be. I mean, we get regression in sexual regression. We get regression in 101 ways, right? This is just presented like physical, emotional, psychological regressions are out there. So, for example, how many of you guys, and I hate to showcase this, have heard of age play? How many of you guys have heard of age play? Where, say that like an individual, a full-on adult starts playing like a little kid. Yeah? That's a form of regression. That is literally a form of regression. Sure, I took that BDSM test. Oh no, see, right? Where some people want to be I've heard of it. All right, yeah, and that comes again from some sort of aspect or thing that is missing, right? That is happening in there, like. Hey, let me go ahead and suck on my thumb. We can talk about the psychosexual stages of development, right? And how regression can play into that, especially as a teen, as an adult, whatnot. The periodic table of kinks. Actually, great time. Hold on. I know, we're talking about it. Sorry, Phoebe. You might want to close your eyes for this one. This is it. When we look at it, right? This is the periodic table of kink, right? When we look at a situation like this and we look at regressional elements and we look at elements as to like what makes an individual, like gasp, Dios mío. When we look at a situation like this, right, we have to start understanding where does that come through. Jeff is just the company mascot that put all of this together. So where do people lie, right? For example, even through a medical perspective, why do you think people are into like needle play and certain things like that, right? Where does that come in? Where does that first develop or envelop, right? What trauma, or not even necessarily trauma, but what event in a person's life led them to that self-discovery? Or if it's like in terms of domination or torture or whatever, right? Where does this come into? And even the deviancies, where does that also start coming into, right? But why does torture section largely male focused? I mean, because it doesn't envelop all the kinks, unfortunately, but there is female kinks as well, right? That involves torture, and it's back and vice versa, right? Again, a lot of these kinks are developed towards like the more, I don't know how to put it. I guess I'll highlight it like this: what fits into the bell curve, the normal distribution in the bell curve. There's some that are in the extremes, but not all of them, right? And unfortunately, it doesn't take a wider perspective. It is what it is. Welcome to psychology and why we're trying to go out and change it. There's a lot of instances like this. So that's why when we're looking at Shinji and we're looking at these coping mechanisms, these defense mechanisms, is huge. What is it when you like thinking about a kink but don't want to actually do the kink? So you're intrigued by the aspects of doing it but not necessarily doing it. That's discovery. That's a part of the discovery process, right? You can be really like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then you're like, ah, but I don't really want to do it. It sounds interesting. Because you're in the discovery aspect of it. Powerful stuff.
当時のやつさ、反省してた。妹に説教されたらしいよ。
Oh.
私たちを救ってくれたのはあのロボットなのよって。小学校低学年に説教されたの。な。夜はいいよな。あのうるさいセミが鳴かないから。小さい頃は静かでよかったけど、毎年増えてる。
Right.
生態系が戻ってるって美里さんが言ってた。
美里さんね。まったく羨ましいよ。あんな綺麗なお姉さんと一緒に住んでてエヴァンゲリオンを操縦できて、一度でいいから思いのままにエヴァンゲリオンを操ってみたい。
やめた方がいいよ。お母さんが心配するから。
Oh.
ああ、それなら大丈夫。俺そういうのいないから。怒りと一緒だよ。
Hold on. People things we see in the media are irrational, foolish, and bad descent, analyzing assumptions that decisions made are justified. Yeah. That's also true, Case. They watched it be hell in real time. They watched the battlefield really turn into a fucking living hellhole in real time, and they still want to go ahead and jump into it. I'm the same as you. That relational aspect is going to be fucking hard. I guess my main regard, I'm going to highlight this. I'll ask it now because it's starting to look that way for me. How much of an impact does Shinji's, I guess, mom or lack thereof a mom, is it going to have in his future decision making? And even past that, my second question is, how important is sexuality as a theme in this show? Those are the two questions I have regarding to Evangelion, because it's being highlighted more and more with like the connections that he's building and how it's coming in, right?
飯食うだろ。
いつもこんなことしてんの？
まあな。
ゲリラ戦にでもなった時のための訓練。
こんなおもちゃで何ができるんだよ。好きでやってるだけさ。
Oh. He's just having fun, Shinji. Hey, yo. Get in the robot, Shinji. We're done fucking around, Shinji. Get in the fucking robot, Shinji.
はい。
ネルフ保安庁本部のものだ。
Of course.
保安条例第8項の適用により君を本部まで連行する。いいね。
はい。
そんでお前黙って見てただけやっちゅんかい。
なこと言ったって向こうはネルフの保安庁本部。
So they were keeping a close eye on him regardless, right? Regardless. Nowhere he could have gone, he can't get away from it. See, it was no, Cross Daves, it's still the job of the Guardian to take care of an individual. The fact that they sent out their intelligence network means that they've always kept a close eye on him. They're always watching him in that regard. And even past that, right, it means that, like, you know, number one, if Misato, I guess I'll challenge this, right? Is Misato just a tool? This is the difference between a guardian and then like a manipulation tactic. Is Misato just a manipulation tactic? That's the question that I have. Is Misato in a big way going to be used as a manipulation tactic for Shinji, or being used in that way, right? Because choosing to take someone in means choosing to take the responsibility of caring for them. I think she is, but she doesn't want to be. She chose to be Shinji's guardian, right? Right. I think she is, but she also does care for a bit. Right. She is a manipulation. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that she might be a fucking manipulation tactic in use in this regard. They're just roommates. But to what regard? We're seeing Shinji, right? Like, because Shinji, like, listens to her for an aspect of things, right? And listens to her in the regards of, like, hey, you know what? Like, you will, like, you know, that back and forth communication, they live together, so on and so forth. But there's that level of propinquity that happens after you spend a lot of time with the person, right? You start to gain feelings, you start to whatever. What will happen if at some point Shinji gets a girlfriend? Or vice versa? What would happen if Misato brings in a boyfriend? In that same regard, are they going to be able to communicate with one another, or does the line of communication end there? Because right now, their relationship is built upon the aspect of, like, hey, you know what? Like, you're working with me. We're roommates in this regard. That's where my mind comes in. How would this work if, like, Shinji gets a girlfriend, starts bringing her in, and stops relying as much on Misato? All of a sudden, her words stop being as important in that regard. Or maybe it will still be. Is Misato taken in the place of a mom? That's the question for Shinji, right? In the way that he's reacting. Is Misato taken in the place of a parental figure where no one else is really doing that? All of a sudden, chat's like,
そうなんだよ。
それがどないしたんや。お前それでもまたんきついとんのか。
勝てない喧嘩するやつはバカなの。まあ短期は関係ないの。
しばらくね。
はい、
この2日間ほっつき歩いて気が晴れたかしら。
別に。
エヴァのスタンバイできてるわ。
Gods in. Can anyone actually get the full logo for Nerve along with like the bottom subtitle, please? Please. God's in his heaven. All I write with the world. God's in his own heaven. All's right with the world. God. Hold on. Hello, Noct.
乗る？
Sorry, that was my brother.
叱らないんですね、家出のこと。当然ですよね。美里さんは他人なんだから。もし僕が乗らないって言ったら、初号機はどうするんですか？
レイが乗るでしょうね。
Hmm.
乗らないの？
そんなことできるわけないじゃないですか。彼
Right.
女に全部押し付けるなんて。
But how is Ray so open to doing it? Like, Ray, for the most part, just displays someone that is so okay with it that it's like, I don't know how to put it. It's weird. It's unhuman. It's deflecting. I think we because it's like, especially as a teenager, as a kid, being able to go ahead and jump on in there and like be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna break my arm. I'm gonna do this. Or like, have an eye bandaged over. I'm sorry, a lot of kids, it's like the moment that they get hurt, that's fucking game. They're never gonna fucking attempt it again. But yet Ray is so into it that it's
大丈夫ですよ。乗りますよ。
because it's fun robot. Oh god, Phoebe.
そりゃそうでしょ。第一僕には向いてませんよ、そういうの。だけど、綾波や美里さんや律子さん。
いい加減にしなさいよ。人のことなんか関係ないでしょ。嫌ならここから出て行きなさい。エヴァや私たちのことは全部忘れて元の生活に戻りなさい。あんたみたいな気持ちで乗られんのは迷惑よ。
Here's the thing. You want him to take action? Then build a fucking supportive environment. Right now, you have a kid who's so fucking depresso and just accepting of everything because the environment is oppressing them. When you have an environment that oppresses a kid, you will never get a kid that takes action. You'll never get a man that actually wants to go ahead and start something, right? Or takes that first step in a fucking relationship or anything like that, right? If you're forcing someone to get in a fucking robot and you're telling them, hey, step up, show more attitude, do this or that, then build a fucking environment, the supportive environment for why he needs to go ahead and do so, right? Welcome to Eva, and otherwise what you're getting is you're getting a kid who will more than likely always seem fucking passive and depressed. Why? Because he has never been given the opportunity and the supportive environment to actually start thriving. That's why. You're yelling at someone who's already depressed instead of trying to go ahead and build that supportive environment and allowing them the opportunity to fucking flourish. Instead of saying, Shinji, get in the fucking robot, what we should do is, Shinji, how can we help you get in the robot? Right? What do you need to be able to get in the robot? Start fucking like. I can fix your head. I wonder how much this reflects on Japanese societal norms. Right. Well, I mean, you have to do what's best for the greater good, unfortunately, right? Unfortunately. Oof. If you want to improve shit, you could play the game by Gainax. Never need to hire Nerve need to hire Ed. Oh yeah, if they want me to go ahead and like fix this back, like that's the way that we would do it. Ed, would you join it? Or you would not be trusting a sketchy organization. I don't know, man. I don't know. But the main regard that comes from it is you can't expect people to do their best or actually start thriving or having an opinion or whatnot if they're already in a bad state. You can't allow people to go ahead and start like flourishing and being their true selves and start taking actions if they're not in the right mental health, right? In this kind of world, would mental health help be widely available, or is this broken down, or is everyone just broken and no one can help each other? Even a world like this, Phoebe, mental health would still need to be prioritized. And I'll tell you why. The society that starts prioritizing mental health help in a world like this is able to go ahead and act a lot more calmly. Otherwise, you have a bunch of broken people trying to heal broken people. And is that healthy? Is that healthy? right? If you have a world where broken people trying to help broken people, you're just getting more broken people. And that's sort of where we're at. We're in a scenario where a lot of people don't understand mental health. And I hate to put it this way, but Japan is very well known for not having a lot of mental health services available at all, if at all, for people. So you're more than likely getting a fucked up perspective where it's like, why isn't Shinji willing to go ahead and take the ultimate risk? Is this a reflection of Japanese culture? Phoebe, is this a reflection of Japanese culture? Then wouldn't every potential therapist be traumatized by a second impact anyway? Absolutely. However, red betting, even as therapists, even as psychologists, we have something that we all go through, a training called crisis management, extreme crisis management, which includes being able to go ahead and find out how to quickly be able to cope and better ourselves to be able to go ahead and be there for others as well. I.e., COVID pandemic hit. It impacted a lot of therapists and psychologists all over the world, to the point where their own families were dying, right? Living abroad, guess what we had to do? Yes, we had to worry about our families, but you know what else we had to do? We had to do end-of-life therapy for a lot of people and their families. We had to do a lot of for the individuals that wanted to take their own life during that period of time, especially if you lived in one of the states or one of the countries, not states, but one of the countries that allows for individuals to go ahead and go through with such a procedure. You have to go ahead and give end-of-life therapy in that regard as well, right? So even though the world is going to shit around you, and even though people in your family might be getting sick and whatnot, you have to know, especially as a therapist, how to go ahead and do crisis management and how to do the crisis intervention steps for yourself to be able to go ahead and heal properly to be there for others. Yep. But the main element comes in if you don't know anything about mental health, right? If you don't know anything about mental health and you come through and you're trying to heal someone that's already depressed, what does that do? How do you guys feel when your parents come through and you're depressed or you're going through a really rough time and they're like, "Andale, mija, andale, mijo, come on, get better. Why aren't you going out there? Come on, son. Like, you should be going out there. Like, if you go through a breakup, why aren't you dating already? Why aren't you over him already after a couple of days? Well, why don't you come in, why aren't you happy already? Why aren't you over it? Why aren't you going out? Why aren't you meeting with friends? Get in the robot, Shinji. Why aren't you getting in the robot? Don't be sad because sad is backwards in stars, and that's not good. Oh no. Oh, then the suicide means papas, not as much regarding dating though, but anything else, right? And that's the main thing. It's like all this, kick rocks. Can't you just be normal? All of this pressure that is being pushed onto people, right? Pushed onto kids, especially or individuals just in general, that aren't necessarily the health is unreal, is unfucking real. And that's the main regard with it. It's getting to a point where that healthy unhealthy barrier is very obvious. Or even further, here's another one you guys might hear a lot. Hey, when are you gonna have kids? When are we gonna have grandkids? Like when are you gonna when are you gonna find a husband or a wife? When are you thinking about I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys at some point in time have experienced something like this. I'm pretty sure at some point in time, some of you guys have gone through something like that, right? And it's like, dude, I'm trying to work on myself. I'm trying to better myself. I'm trying to find a career. I'm trying to find a passion. I'm trying to go ahead and live, study abroad or do this or do that. I really have time for that. Or maybe you're missing your parents, and that's an element. So the element comes in when your parents or people like that start putting in that pressure. How does that make you feel? As opposed to actually going through a therapist or going through a situation where they might be like, so what do you think about kids in your future? Is that a good or a bad idea? Where do you stand on that at the moment, right? It's a lot more of an open-ended invitation for you to be able to establish that for yourself. But maybe there are other ways to solve the issues of mental health, ways that rely on metaphysical processes of apatios. No, mental health needs to be solved with the mental health professional. At the moment, there is no, I'll be very upfront, right? Medicine can handle the symptomology for a way, right? But mental health needs to be treated by a mental health professional. And too many times do we get that boundary line or that boundary crossing where it's a little fucking wild. Where it's a little fucking wild. To the first ancestral race. What are you talking about, Cross Daves? And even through that, right? This is why we have generational trauma, and that's the rough spot of things. I side-eye people that urge me for that, and knew very well how my family situation is ever since I was a kid. Right, Lena. Right.
サードチルドレンは明日第三新東京を離れます。
では初号機のデータは例に書き換える。
しかし
0号機の再起動実験の結果の遺憾によらず初号機での実験に移る。
Oof.
マルドゥク機関の報告によるとフォースチルドレンはまだ見つかっている。
The fourth
パイ
child.
ロットの補充は効かないということですか。
美里さんはどこですか？一言お別れを。
君はすでにネルフの人間ではない。どのようなことも教えられない。
ちょっといいですか？ありがとう。
王子、喋れよ。ほら。怒り、2発もどついたりして悪かった。わしのこともどついてくれ。
そんなことできないよ。
せやないとわしの気が済まん。こういう恥ずかしいやつなんだよ。ま、それで丸く収まるんなら殴ったら。
Why are and I do have this thing, right? Why are something I've noticed for a lot of guys is sometimes the person that you fight might actually turn out to be a close friend for some reason. Like literally, a lot of individuals that end up just fighting with one another, right, end up just being like You end up forming like a weird tie with them, like brother. That was a good punch.
じゃあ一発だけ。
よし、こんかい。あった。手加減なしや。いたたたた。
The security guard in the background, just like, yeah.
どうしてここが？
勘ってやつだよ。ここんとこ何十人って同級生を見送ってきたんだ。怒りがおらんのやったらいずれわしらもこの町から出ていかんならんようなるやろ。せやけどわしら何も言われへん。エヴァの中で苦しんでる怒りの姿見てるからな。怒りのことごちゃごちゃ抜かすやつがおってみ。わしがパチキかましたる。そない新規臭い顔すんなや。元気でな。頑張れや。時間だ。
The cicada noise is pretty cool, though. Bro, actually having, like, starting to make real friends and then just get ripped away.
殴られなきゃならない。僕だ。僕は卑怯で臆病で
Oh.
強くて弱くして。
これ以上手を焼かせるな。
行っちゃったわね。これでよかったの？山嵐のジレンマか。身を寄せるほど相手を傷つける。こういうことか。あの子を ああいう言い方でしか自分の気持ちを伝えられないんだわ。
But the closer that you are with someone, yeah, the more vulnerable that you become with them. But you can't change unless you're vulnerable. I hate to put it like this, but at the end of the day, you will never change for the better, right? You will never, like, introspectively speaking, if you can't be vulnerable with yourself or with others. Because sometimes we tend to hide that mask, right? Sometimes we really, really do tend to go ahead and hide that from even ourselves, where we think, oh yeah, we're doing this because this is fun, right? This is great, right? This is all of this, but you're really feeling burnt out, and it's really a call for help. And you're really just like, you know, trying to do your best to try and keep yourself entertained or whatnot. Maybe because you're feeling lonely. Maybe because you really don't have a lot of friends. Maybe because outside of work, the only thing that you have to be able to go ahead and share who you are, what you truly are, do is to get into Discord and chat, or maybe even come online and Twitch stream, or, you know, go on YouTube and stream there as well, or wherever that may be, right? Because maybe in society in of itself, as wonderful as society might seem around, it's quite lonely. And maybe because it is quite lonely, we tend to go ahead and find that vulnerability or mask that vulnerability with the aspect of self that we try and hide into it. So we engross ourselves in anime and video games and 1,001 other things, and even work in of itself, to mask the pain as to what's truly happening, to mask how lonely we might feel. And we learn the best fucking customer service voice that we possibly can to say, oh, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. Here's your new pumpkin spice latte. Or here's that, or here's like whatever, right? So we engross ourselves in our work sometimes to mask out what we're truly feeling, that we're feeling lonely, that we miss this, that we miss like loved ones, family, friends, actual people to connect with, right? Is there a balance that should be kept out, right? Here's the thing, Phoebe. Whenever we talked about like being too vulnerable, that's already a sign that you've been hurt. And that's already a sign that society or someone has hurt you. That's already a sign that by you being too vulnerable, you tried to share too much of yourself, and someone or something rejected that, and you felt as though like hurt by it, right? And this goes in general, by the way. This isn't just for you, Phoebe. But a lot of people, as soon as you start talking about being too vulnerable, it means that at some point in time, someone rejected your vulnerability, and it made you stumble backwards and be like, what the fuck is happening? I thought it was okay to be vulnerable. I thought it was okay to share this. I thought it was okay to do like do so forth. Or maybe you've never really had the opportunity to, and that's fucking terrifying. So it's one or the other. But with that comes in the main aspect of things, right? Which is, if you're not vulnerable and you're not able to, like, even if it's testing vulnerability levels, which is a big thing. If you're not able to test vulnerability levels, and you're not able to go ahead and allow yourself to be vulnerable with others, how can you grow? How can you grow? I just blocked my memory in my head. How can you go ahead and attack the instances as to what you're okay and not okay with? How can you go ahead and process the emotions and the things out there? But do you think that... No, personally, I think it's healthy to put up boundaries. Like, everyone doesn't deserve to know everything that's going on in your life, right? There are certain people that you can definitely allow into your life. However, the moment that you're not even sharing like 1% of the information with someone, or you're not even able to be honest with yourself, that's an issue. That's an issue. And that's the main thing, is that there are people in your life that like should definitely see you be vulnerable, right? And can expect to see a good portion of your vulnerability, but you should allow yourself to also be vulnerable, and that's a big thing. Good themes. I like the way the show presents it. How so, show? Like, how do people dismiss it? If you don't mind me asking. No way. You're late. He'll still be there. You're the only person. Oh no, he's not. Oh,
あれあの時のべっぴんさんや
I thought he would still be there. Like the only person that actually cared for me was Misato. You know, get in the train, Shinji. Oh fuck. Oh, he's still there. Let's go. Oh. Because Misato Mami, yeah. Also cross saves, yeah, don't. It's not cool to do that. That connectional moment, though. Like, that connectional moment is huge. For Gora is now arriving on team track 4. The hold on this scene is huge. No, this is a big moment at the same time of like, I want to ask this. Hold on. How many of you guys have ever been in a toxic relationship that maybe you shouldn't have been in for a good while? That maybe you thought you should escape, but maybe they were the only one that showed that they cared, or that they cared about you or liked you, or maybe they gave you some supportive like words or whatnot. And maybe you stayed a little bit longer than you should have. I'm very upfront about it. I'll be very fucking upfront about it, because maybe they showed a little bit of interest in you, right? Right? Maybe they showed a little bit of interest in you, more so than like what you were expecting. If he chooses to stay willingly, Ed, at that point in time, well, we have to put it this way, right? That like for him, he heard that voice and he stayed, because that's probably the only voice that has ever said that has only cared about him. I've been in a relationship I shouldn't have stayed in, but that was due to toxicity, right? And that's the main element through this, right? I don't know if I was lucky or if I'm the problem, but I was never so far in a toxic relationship, and that's good. At the same time, I just really want to jump back and talk about that, which is you should never feel as though being vulnerable, like if you're getting dismissed while being vulnerable, then my question for you is, did he deserve your vulnerability? There are a lot of people out there who think that they deserve every right and access into your life, right? And then unfortunately, you have a lot of people in society who will try and dismiss your vulnerability, right? Where you're like, this is going through something. They're like, why don't you just get over it? Why don't you just this? Why don't you this, that? And it's like, you can't, because that's a part of like the struggles that you're going through. And it's often very inhumane and very rough and very, it kills me. It kills me whenever I see stuff like that, where it's like, stop just being sad, just move on, just whatever. And then it's like, it would be easy if it was just a flip of a switch, but it's not. We're all processing shit differently, and we have to empathize that we're on a very different journey, very different element. And then like targeting another person, just saying like, move on or whatnot, like, or telling a person to just, oh yeah, just you'll get over it. Just move on already. It's time, whatnot. You're not allowing them the opportunity to heal or the opportunity to feel and be seen and heard. And that's often the saddest part. And this goes out like to anyone and everyone, which is when people tell you to just get over it, do you feel seen or heard? Do you feel understood? Do you feel cared about? Because oftentimes it feels as though no one's really caring about you. No one's really allowing you the opportunity to hear or share your story. For being vulnerable is a surefire way to lose all trust in that person. There are a few things that bother me more than dismissing or outright shaming someone for opening up how hard it used to be. Ed, could you check staff chat and answer? Sure. Stop worrying. It might never happen when I'm already ruminating. On the flip side, I never... hold on. Let me answer this. On the flip side, I never know what to do or say when people are vulnerable. Pretty sure someone telling you to get over it, they're not trying to make you feel heard or seen or whatever. Yeah, well, it's sympathetic, right? And that's the thing. It's like even joking about someone's vulnerability or something like that can absolutely just shrink it, right? It can make a person not try and open up again. That's the main regard. Well, stuff like hallucinations is also similar, but yeah. Overall, powerful scene to hold on. Powerful scene to go out and showcase that, like, it's a relationship that they kind of need one another in that regard. Or maybe got attached to one another. They just hold on to staring at one another. That's so good.
ただいま。おかえりなさい。
He found his reason to stay. He found his reason to stay. And that's the key thing there. That is the key fucking thing there. Throughout this entire journey, right? And so far it's been like, you have to do it to save humanity. You have to do it for this. You have to do it for that. And he found his reason to stay. Is that a good thing? I don't fucking know, right? He found a home, right? He found his reason to stay. This entire time it's been do this for this, right? Do this to save humanity. Do this because it's your job. Do this for whatever. But what was his reason for doing it? And now that it's like fully conceptualized for him, this is home. This is home. For a teenage girl, it's a motivator. Oh, I love the Japanese phrases. Oof. Oh, it ends there? Let's bring. In other words. Is it a different person singing every ending? Yeah.